Hello, and welcome to the third space, a place where conversations go beyond the obvious and we step into stories, ideas, inspirations, and narratives that shape who we are. In this precious third space, we strive to listen with intent, to focus on things that our guests bring to us. Please welcome Amit Gupta, editor and founder of STIRworld today. He is a man who's worn many hats and has done justice to all of them. Welcome, Amit. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for calling me in.
It's my pleasure, really. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
So, Amit, when we spoke yesterday at length, I would really like you to tell us about your childhood, your memories of your childhood, where you've come from. And I believe there was a point in time where you almost became a medical doctor.
Wow. Yeah. I come from a small town called Agra, though it's famous for Taj Mahal. That's where I was brought up. That's where the schooling happened. I come from a family of bureaucrats, technocrats, doctors, engineers. I'm a son of a retired civil engineer, and one of the dream which my dad had for me was that I will become a doctor, like many other cousins
Yeah.
of mine and many other. In fact, he's already bought a plot of land to in Agra. We used to have something called nursing homes to make a nursing home
Wow.
in Agra. Well, I somehow knew that it's not going to be my calling, but in those days, if you're told to do something, you're
Have
supposed to
to.
do. You have
Yeah.
to. So I did do some failed CPMT, which was a pre-medical test attempts twice, and I realized, listen, I said it's not happening. I'm not. I can cut a section of a stem beautifully, which is what my botany professor used to tell me, but I can't become a surgeon. And then started delving into multiple things, looking at what opportunities I had, and I stumbled into the business of management and came to Delhi to do my MBA. And that gave me a different exposure. That gave me a different. I got exposed to people from different walks of life. Delhi, then way back in 1989, was a different city. We used to DTC bus
Yeah.
used to
Tell
run
me
those
about
days.
it.
You know,
I've taken many.
yeah,
Yeah.
and that became a new journey of my life. So yeah, so my childhood was a BSA SLR childhood, where we used to bunch of us used to make sure that we used to go to school in BSA SLR. I don't know if you remember the
Yeah.
campaign called BSA SLR Zip Zap Zoom. That was a prize gift gifted to us by our parents
Yeah.
as one of the important milestone you achieve in your life. There was no phones there. There was no iPhone being given. There was no car being given. It was
Absolutely.
BSA SLR.
Those were the
Yeah,
small joys, I think, back
exactly.
then.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So that's been Agra for me, and that's led to Delhi in '89. Yeah.
The kind of creativity you're in now, back then in your childhood, did you ever think that this is what you would be doing, or this has happened over a period of time?
I think there could be a possibility that there was an inherent spike in it in me, which was a creative edge or a spike. But then way back then, I didn't know. I think it just evolved.
It
The
evolved.
more I got exposed to this world, I realized that that could be my calling, and then I learned as things
And you
went by.
mentioned that you also were in the advertising world for a long time. And I feel, where you meet different kind of people, you have clients who have demands, and this creative world of ad agency is like, we want the work as of yesterday. And
Well, there was
those
a
deadly timelines.
yeah, there was a mad time. I
Yeah.
mean, 1991 was my first job in McCann. Now McCann, those days it used to be called TSA, then became TSME, which is Tara Sena
Yeah.
McCann Erickson, and then became McCann. One of my favorite lines from McCann is, which I always use even today in my business practices: "Truth well told is well sold." But McCann taught me a lot. When you are on a client servicing, you know how to hustle, you know how to make relationships, you know how to learn different aspects of business. So you know how to handle your production manager or your media director or planner or your account planner or your creative director and art directors and your client. And when you are in office, you're actually representing your client.
Yeah.
And when you are in client's office, you're representing your agency. So it does groom you. And those days was a different advertising world. Today, when I see kids in advertising, I say, I think we were those were the days of typesetting. Those were the days of
Yes.
bromide. Those were the days of half tones and quarter tones. Um, yep, and that gave us a grounding.
That's like your foundation for
Correct.
what you're doing now.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember because Raj is a graphic designer and, working with hand, and he had these lovely people working with him. And the kind of time that it took to make a font and to present the font to the client, it was just mind blowing.
Oh, those days,
Yeah.
the amount of handwork was
Yeah.
done was of a different scale.
Different scale.
Uh, I mean, at the end of my advertising career, digital studios had started mushrooming everywhere in the country. But before that, it was all hand. It was for us, our production manager was the important person.
Yeah.
Who's going to make everything by hand, calligraphy to fonts to you know making positives and making plates and all
So
that
that
was
was your brush with creativity, any which ways, yeah.
that was one trigger of my life which gave me a little creative spark. Yeah, and that also was one trigger to be an entrepreneur.
How interesting.
Because when I left McCann after 3 years, I was joining JWT. There was a little transition period where me and my friend started a film production company. So there was an entrepreneur's streak, wanting to be on our own, and at the same time do something which is in line of creativity. So we actually started a part-time film production company, and we did a couple of films. We did a couple of films for a few brands, jeans brand and NGO, and then my friend got into McGill University to do his masters, and I got called in JWT. So we shut it down. It was just one.
When did that fascinating, interesting period of the 4 BHK Sopia Vihar happen?
Wow. So when we moved to, it was like 22 or 23. A cousin of mine, a generous cousin of mine,
I
owned
know.
a 4-bedroom house in Sopia Vihar, and I was looking for a home. And he says that I have a house lying vacant. You can shift in. And those days, you can shift in on a 3-wheeler. We had one bucket,
Literally.
one mug, one Petromax cylinder, and 2 suitcases and one bedding.
Fused jeans.
And the fused jeans. Yeah, that's about it. So I moved into the basement of that 4-bedroom house. It was a ground floor and a basement. The cornermost room I took, and I stayed there for a couple of months alone. And I said, listen, there's such a huge house lying empty. Took permission from my cousin. Can I call a few people and as luck would have it, I got one more person from advertising world to join me in the other room. And then we get 2 NID graduates. And they came with measuring tapes and drugs. And this is okay, now there'll be furniture in this house. But as they also came with the Kawasaki Bajaj, and I said, where is all that planning you were doing? He said, that's aspiration. That will happen one day.
I love that.
So 4 of us, 2 NID graduates and 2 advertising,
And the 19 keys, I'm waiting for that.
that house became a party zone. We used to actually, there was a time when, likes of Delhi Times and likes of HT City was not a paid platforms. Our party used to get covered there because suddenly the design community from NID, from SPA, from NIFT, and the advertising world got together in Sopia Vihar. It had 19 keys. We used to come home where somebody's girlfriend is cooking for somebody, and some guy is sleeping here, and he says, "Listen, who are you?" He says, "No, who are you?" So it became literally a open house. Before our neighbors complained to my cousin and says, listen, this is a debauch party place. It became a debauch party place. It became a very famous party place. On New Year parties and Christmas parties were very well known there. And that made me see the other side of the creative world, which was design, architecture, art, meeting professionals. Some of the biggest names today who were bachelors then, like we all were, and party lunatics guys and girls, and today they're all big names. Most of them are doing very, very well. I mean, at the cost of dropping name, but I just and today we that trigger about all these product designers and furniture designers and communication designers and architects and landscape architects. This is there's so many art galleries which promote painters and sculptors, and fashion was the only design discipline
Yeah.
which was on autopilot or you know, gets rolling much faster in terms of recognition for the professional. There was no platform for product designer. There was no platform for communication designer or an architect to create their own projects and also to how to promote themselves, how to connect with a potential client. And that, and by then I was also married with Hardeep, who was from IMRB and market research person. We left our respective jobs to start Visav way back in 1997 as the first design management company.
I was telling you the other day, I think you were far ahead of your times when you did that back then.
Yeah,
Because
I
that
mean,
was such a.
in 97, people wouldn't have heard of an art and design management
Never.
company. People knew sports management company like IMG
Yeah.
and many other. People knew entertainment management company like Westcraft and many other, but nobody knew art and design management organization. And that's the reason we were welcomed in the
Yeah.
community very, very
And
early
it
on.
was the need. Was
Yeah,
the
so
need, the gap.
mentors like Mapu, who's unfortunately not with us, and Rajiv Sethi, and the directors of NID, then Satralekar and Rati Vinay Jha, everybody embraced us and says there is a need of management, intersection with creative community, and creative economy would be on a rise at one point of time. So Vis-a-vis was quite a welcome change by the community, but it was not easy to survive because revenue models were not
Yeah,
defined.
that's true.
So we did our first show way back in 97, which Rajiv supported us, which was actually an NID graduate show. And I remember Vikas, who was then the NID director, who came to attend the show and wrote on a whiteboard there that what NID couldn't do for so many years, Vis-a-vis done in 6 months. That was the first show of Visual Art Gallery. That was the first show of India Habitat Center launching Visual Art Gallery when Rohit Khattar had taken over the space from as Old World
I
Hospitality.
was telling you that I was working with NID, they were my mentors, and they were designing the headquarters of NID at IHC.
Correct.
And I remember this, it's so uncanny. I remember this.
It was quite an experience. I mean, I invited architects and designers, all friends of ours, then, and says there's a Stein model right in the center of Visual Art Gallery. With teary eyes, we picked up that model and put it in a room where today the director sits. And it was a beautiful model. And that was the first show of Visual Art Gallery and the first show of Vis-a-vis, which was called Confluence.
And it was a stupendous success.
It was a great success. We had, Inside Outside, the magazine then supporting it with Mala heading the magazine. Rajiv Sethi supported us. Amarnath and Francis supported us. Many people came forward. And it was quite a success. I mean, Hardeep and I didn't know what we've hit because there were 550, 600 people on the opening day. We didn't know anybody. But it was quite a charming evening and a show which lasted for 16 days.
So what were the challenges that you faced at that point in time, bringing this out? And I know you got a lot of support, but there must have been so much of work at your end to curate all of this. How did that come about?
Yeah, no, it was, as I said, it was not easy. One of the biggest challenge we faced is that how do we turn this into making money for ourselves and for designers? So we started a wing called Portfolio Management, where we said, okay, we will connect service seeker and service providers. But it was, again, not scalable because if you representing one architect, then how do you represent the second architect? Or how do you represent the third architect? Or one furniture designer, how do you represent the second furniture designer? We started a retail wing where we're telling these designers that you've created amazing collection of chairs and products and ceramics and accessories.
And they need a place to showcase this.
Yeah. So we wanted a retail platform. And they also needed, because there was no industry here. they could create a few prototypes of a stunning
Right.
candle holder or a stunning chair or a stunning ceramic bowl or a textile.
But not volume.
But how do we
Yeah.
multiply that into numbers? Because there was no industry support, a textile designer or a ceramic designer or a furniture
Yeah.
designer or a product designer. So that was a other challenge we faced, that how do we bring industry into the business of design, where these graduates can find a place where they can
Yeah.
create, because globally there are international brands who hire designers to design
Yes.
for them. And we have examples here. I mean, we're sitting on today we've reached a place where Pratap is designing a collection of stunning
Absolutely
surfaces,
stunning. Yes.
because now there's evolved industry, and thanks to professional organizations like FCML who have promoted designers
Absolutely.
creating product line. Way back then, there was
There
nothing.
was nothing like this. Yeah.
So that was another challenge, and the revenue model was relying on industry to sponsor an event, and that was also far and few, because everybody wants to sponsor a fashion show,
Yeah.
or a music show, or a film related initiative, or cricket.
Or sports.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
but why will you sponsor a product design show? But we did get lucky in multiple ways. I mean, Rado Watch Company, when they were launching themselves in India, and they announced scholarships in NIT.
Yeah.
So our second show, a group design show, was sponsored by Rado. By then, Hewlett Packard, for example, when they were launching 3500 CP large plotters, they want to talk to graphic designers. We then did a digital art show where we had likes of Prabodh Das Gupta and Satish Gujral and Sophie Gore and Sonalik Oberoi creating large graphic design panels. That was a show which was completely taken over and bought over by HP themselves. Or American Express or ING. Prabodh's Ladakh book, a Ladakh show, was launched by us. And his book was conceived then, which was sponsored by Discovery Channel. But yeah, American Express, ING, Discovery Channel, Hewlett Packard, Rato, Philips, they were far and few.
So I can see a lovely connection from your ad agency days to Sopia Vihar. The confluence of having known and having worked with such people or having known such people, you had that ability to marry these few things that you've done and bring it all together. You've used it to your advantage.
Yeah, you can say that. I mean, I don't know, connecting dots and
Yeah.
and plugging holes was one of the key thing which we as design managers could do then. And that was the objective, that let's create an architecture and design gallery.
Yeah.
We were actually the first architecture and design gallery in India. 1998, after 97, we took our own space in Kirki Village. And we says, now, okay, we have a gallery. There could be limited edition pieces designed by the young designers where we don't have to rely on industry, where designers can create 5 editions, 10 editions of a chair or a textile art. And we could sell that and make revenue for designers and for ourselves. So that's how Visav as a design gallery started in 98 in Kirki Village, a factory shed.
Yeah.
It was a photography studio. We could only do shows in summers, in winters, because in summer it used to get very hot. Tin shed.
Greenhouse effect.
Yeah. But it was fun. We did some crazy shows there, and we worked with Italian Cultural Center. We worked with British Council, French Cultural Attaché, and multiple institutions in India. We had support of a lot of well-known art collectors.
And I think you all put Kirki Village on the map. After that, it became one sought after place for designers and architects
Yeah,
too.
I remember Times Property or Hindustan Times Property did an article on saying the Kirki village rates have gone up because of
Yeah.
Visavi. Yeah.
Because of Visavi.
Yeah.
So interesting. You obviously you've done some amazing projects back then, and one of them that really stood out to me was the one that you created on 31st December 1999. I would love for you to tell us about it. It's such an exciting piece that you thought of back when there was very limited internet, I would say. Like it was just kind of
Yeah.
difficult.
Internet, yeah.
Please explain that process.
So 31st December 1999 is when it was a Millennium Eve. We
Yeah.
were, turning a leaf of a century. And we all got together, and I was sitting with Sushma Behel of British Council, and we had connected with Neil Butler of UZ event in Glasgow. And we were all sitting together and says, what do we do? There has to be something very, very unique which can connect the globe from the perspective of arts and creatives. So we conceived an idea called Wrap the World. Can one piece of artwork go around the globe
Wow.
in 1.5 hours time? Technology was used then. Same communication technology was used then, but it was fax technology. If you remember, we used to have a 30-meter
Yes.
thermal paper roll in the fax machine.
Yes.
So we appointed 2 artists in Glasgow, 2 in Johannesburg, 3 in New Delhi, 2 in Sydney, New York, and Porto. And because we were putting the whole festival together, we actually went. And Dr. Jatinder Jain was very supportive. He was Craft Museum director then. We took the amphitheater of Craft Museum. We created a huge set. We got web camera on each and every center. We had BBC and Star doing a live coverage. The whole objective was that 2 artists will start working on a fax paper in Glasgow, and they will start transmitting that paper from the machine to Johannesburg. While they're transmitting, they're working on it. The same artwork, Johannesburg team starts receiving from one fax machine, and while they're receiving, they work on the same and add their own layer to it and transmit through the second fax machine to New Delhi. We started receiving here in New Delhi. We created a huge set in Craft Museum. We invited Ranbir Kalekar, Subha Ghosh, and Kalam Patwa, the Kalamkari artist, to work on the layer which Glasgow and Johannesburg artists had already worked on. We created Sophie Gore designed the set. The fax moved. Our artists worked on it. We sent it to Sydney. Same thing happened in Sydney. Sydney sent it to New York. New York sent it to Porto. Porto sent it back to Glasgow. So while one machine was still transmitting, the second machine started receiving it. And the 2 kids joined hand. And it was very well talked about. We had close to 300 people sitting in the amphitheater, watching what all the other centers are doing.
Listen, you did Zoom call back then.
Web camera.
Can you imagine?
Those days used to be webcam days. Flickering videos, dial-up connection. But it was quite fun.
How did you work out the dynamics of time zones?
So I mean, we were like we decided that 3:30 in afternoon in India, nice sunny wintry day. For Sydney guys had to be up early morning. New York guys had to be up early morning, but they all loved the idea.
Yeah.
In fact, Times for India, Asian Age, Indian Express, everybody did cover stories on saying how art could symbolize the connectivity and in a short period of time, and how one single piece of artwork can connect the entire globe and wrap the entire world. That was very well talked about initiative of ours. Yeah,
that is something that is really beautiful and makes what a way to welcome the millennium in. So that was really interesting.
That was actually creating a history and marking a dot on a map of creative community. That artwork is with British Council now. And Omega then, because Omega used to talk about creating history, they sponsored the entire event.
Oh, congratulations on that. I think that was just amazing. Also, like many visionaries of that era, you also jumped on the .com bandwagon.
Like a hunger as an entrepreneur, wanted to do something different, wanted to create something big. .com was a huge boom in 99, 2000. That was the first .com boom.
Yeah.
So we said, okay, why can't we create a platform which can connect global creative community under one banner? There was no LinkedIn, there was no Facebook, there was no Instagram then, there was no Behance, so there was nothing there. But the whole idea was that if I'm a client looking for a graphic designer in Mexico, I should be able to come to visavfolio.com. That was an extension of a portfolio. And find a graphic designer in Mexico or Sri Lanka or Australia or India and connect, see his or her portfolio, and write to him or her and get the job done. So we had 21 different categories. We had communication design, art, architecture, landscape architecture, interior design, furniture designers, ceramic designers, textile designers, footwear designers. We had
across the world,
across the globe. We collected close to 1,600, 1,700 portfolios before we
And how
launched it.
long did this take for you to curate?
It took us almost a year. Invited Gautam Bhatia to edit the architecture blog. We used to have magazine then. Invited e-magazine. Nobody had heard of an e-magazine in architecture and design space. Kishore Singh to edit. Kishore Singh, who was with Business Standard and then DAG, and he's a dear friend. Christine Michael to edit. Prabodho and Pradeep Das Gupta to help us in generating portfolios of photographers. So yeah, we got 1,600, 1,700 portfolios. We did a big fanfare launch in Mumbai, supported by Morarka Foundation, Sangeeta Kathiwada then. And we want to now take it after launching it. We want to now promote it, take it to a different level, make sure that the platform gets talked about.
It's due, of course.
And therefore, we were looking for funding. And US crashed. We almost got somebody signing up. We almost had a term sheet going.
Wow.
And we had 19 people working for us then. We had put in all the money we had made from 97 till... So 97, we started Visav with our Provident Fund saving. 97 till 99, we made whatever money we made, small money. And we said, okay, let's start this. There's going to be a good break. And the whole bubble busted. Completely went bankrupt. I owed money to I don't know how many people. Hardeep almost went back to her job. She joined Millward Brown. And I almost went back to JWT because we didn't come from a business family. We both of us came from, families of professionals.
So this must have been an extremely tough time for you all.
It was very, very difficult time.
Yeah.
Our elder daughter was born then in 99. And we had no money in our banks. We owed money to almost everybody we saw. And and it was time to now think back and do. We started doing in bits and pieces what we were doing earlier. But because the dent was so big in terms of in our pocket, it was not so easy. And as luck would have it, we were sitting together. Then Italian ambassador had hosted a small dinner and invited all creative professionals and said there is a brand called Alessi and there's a brand called Floss looking for partners in India. So begged, borrowed more money, actually got investors to invest behind the company who supported and believed in our vision. And those people are still dear friends of ours. And I went to Milan, met Alessio Alessi and Alberto Alessi, met Piero Gandini, and we launched Alessi and Floss in India with Indian Designer Collection, which was already being developed. And the way we launched it was also that we don't want to think small. At that point of time, the only big lifestyle destination in the country was 1MG Road building, where all the fashion designers were together, where all the lifestyle brands were together. So ambitious us went there, took up space, and that was Visav's first retail venture launched in 2003. And that Alessi and Indian designer products did well, but they were not so scalable. Floss did very well with us. We launched Floss with big fanfare, and people were willing to buy an expensive light for their homes. They were not willing to buy an expensive bottle opener from LSC for their homes because, one, they could also bring the bottle opener in their bags.
Yeah.
But a Philips Stark designed floor lamp was not easy to bring. So that gave us revenue. And because of lighting and because of Floss being decorative lighting company, Visav then drifted into the business of lighting.
And then there was no looking back. That serendipitous moment that you had.
So from Floss, we became Airco partner, Loy Paulson partner, Acuri brand from US, and multiple partners across the globe. We realized that lighting is a subject not being taken seriously by an Indian design community. Electrical consultant or contractors end up doing lighting design.
Of. I mean, there was no
they were box movers at that point of time. They were purely people moving boxes of luminaires. And what we learned from Airco, and many other partners of ours that light is a design tool. Light can evoke emotions. Light can break or make the space.
Exactly.
Light can articulate and manipulate a space.
The moods, I mean, there's so
Yeah.
much
So that
depth to it.
became our edge. And says, okay, we would position ourselves not as sellers of luminaire, but we will sell light, an invisible medium which you can't see, but you can only experience.
Yeah,
So our first tagline was, "It is what you don't see."
exactly.
So I used to tell my clients that I sell what you don't see. And then I also tell my clients as we went along, and one client got us second, and second client got us third, that we also sell addiction. Because once you get used to good lighting,
Yes, you can't go back.
you can't go back to bad lighting.
Yeah.
So it snowballed, and we became the lighting company in the country. From 2003 till 2015, we created 90,000 square feet experience center, 2.5 acre farmhouse. We went to Bombay and took Kishore Kumar's bungalow and turned that into a lighting design studio. Did multiple hotel projects, multiple high-end residences, art galleries, museums. Yeah, that was
Till one
vis-a-vis.
day, an article came out and called you the lighting man of India, where you stopped, you paused, and
Again,
you,
Kishore Singh,
Yeah.
a friend of mine, who's
He's
been
to blame.
an integral part of my life, wrote an article in Business Standard saying the Lightman of India. And I woke up with the article and woke up with a headline. I said, that's not the way I want to be.
envisioned or seen.
That's not the way I want to finish my line at. I love lighting, and I'm loving that recognition. But people had forgotten the old avatar of Visav,
Yeah.
where we used to do exhibitions, talks, shows, conferences, gallery, question, invite dialogues and discourses. And that triggered that Vis-a-vis is now known as a lighting company. What Vis-a-vis was from 97 till 2003 is forgotten.
Yeah.
What I used to do before lighting avatar is forgotten. And I used to love that. I used to love curating shows. I used to love curating talks program. I used to love curating exhibitions. I mean, way back in '98, one of my favorite project was the Unbuilt India, where I invited Gautam Bhatia to curate a collection of projects which were never built. 42 architects from different parts of the world.
Wow.
India which never got built. Things like these, or architecture in the age of McDonald's, or spaces
All
contained.
thought-provoking work. And,
Yeah. So we used to do all that as art gallery, as architecture and design gallery. We did bottle show. We did 100 Art of Sitting Pretty as 100 chairs then in '99. And lighting took over my life. And 2014, when this article happened, I said, I want to bring back the other part of my life. And we were financially stable to do that too. So took another risk. Never been a good businessman in terms of how to save money. I've always been earn 100 and spend 110. Where does the 10 come from? It still just comes. I don't know where it's come from. But
I have to learn that art from you then.
and so that triggered the making of Stir. So 2014, we said we will launch the old avatar of Vis-a-vis in keeping new times in mind. And by then, lots of initiatives have started happening in the world of art, architecture, and design. A lot of design forums have moved up, and a lot of new initiatives have happened, and new magazines and new international publications have launched themselves. International editions of international publication houses have launched a magazine in India. So that's triggered.
STIR has
STIR.
a lovely acronym. I would like you to explain that and
Yeah.
what was your thought process behind it.
So name Stir was how do we stir things up? There's already, from 2003 to 2015, we've seen India evolving when it comes to the architecture and design economy.
Right.
How do we now stir things up? How do we? So that's how
Mix
the
things
Stir
up a bit,
happened.
Yeah.
And then Stir by default also had an acronym. It says, okay, see and be seen, which is for creative professionals. So see, think and probe thinking. and think. And when you probe thinking, you'll be able to think next.
Yeah.
Uh, that was the T of Stir. I was inspired, be inspired, talk to people, have conversations, um, dialogues and talks. And so inspiration became the I, and reflect within and around.
Yeah.
So that's how see, think, inspire, reflect.
Lovely.
That became a call for action also. Stir it up, see, think, inspire, reflect. So yeah, I've been had fun with my branding. Vis-a-vis also, when vis-a-vis was coined, should tell the audience that. And in JWT, when I was briefing a copywriter, and it says, I want to call my company. And we were thinking of a name, and I was briefing him, and I was saying that it's going to be vis-a-vis art, architecture, design, vis-a-vis you, vis-a-vis me,
Oh,
vis-a-vis
so
spaces,
vis-a-vis.
vis-a-vis emotion. He says, and just call it vis-a-vis. And that's how vis-a-vis happened. Anything in between is vis-a-vis. The first poem we wrote, I'm also a big fan of Jim Morrison. So the doors where there are things known and there are things unknown.
Yeah.
And in between
Yeah.
is we call vis-a-vis.
Wow.
Yeah. So
Very deep.
so that's how Stir happened. And Stir has its own journey now. Yeah.
And Stir, you said you had a print magazine
So we
initially.
started with the first product of Stir was a print publication. Again, it evolved by the fact that we were doing, one part of me was lighting business. And I happened to be sitting with Paul James, who was the publisher of a magazine called Mondo in UK. So I said, why don't we bring a lighting magazine to India? So that's how Mondo got made. But lighting community was still very small in the country, and it was difficult to sustain a publication only on
Yeah.
a subject of lighting. So therefore, we extended the publication to architecture, to design, and then we also said, let's do new media arts. Let's do arts which is from the world of digital, from the world of immersive art, technology-led art. So we broaden the curatorial content idea of Stir, of Mondo as art architecture and new media arts, design architecture and new media arts publication. And that's how Mondo became a loved publication. It was a very unique format, 200-page book every
Yeah.
2 months, 6 issues in a year. Ran it beautifully for 20 issues, till October 2018, which was the last issue. I called my team and I said, listen, we need to now take Stir and content creation to a different level. And why can't we be a global brand? Why do we have to be an India-centric brand? Why can't we evolve or being born out of South Asia, but recognized all over the world? Because so far there have been an international media brands with India edition. So that was one trigger that let's go digital because that's the only way to go global and get global audience. And second, let's also be country agnostic. And third, let's not be siloed into that I'm an art magazine or I'm a design magazine, or I'm an architecture magazine, because creative boundaries are blurring, have started blurring. Art, architecture, design, alternative cinema, photography, everything was blurring. And when we actually launched the digital publication then, so 2018 October was the last issue. 2019 we rebranded Stir. 2019 July we launched STIRworld.com. That was the first C of a 4C manifesto. Your content, connect, collaborate, and community. So we started with content. One of the things which we learned when we launched it, we first launched it in London, where we met a lot of UK-based architects and even very senior professionals from, Foster's to Chipperfield to Benoit and multiple names. And they all said that we as architects are done just looking at what other architects are doing. And when I meet artists, they were used to say the same thing, that we as artists are done
seeing each other's
what
work.
others. So they all welcomed the platform which sits on the intersection of various creative disciplines. And that became one more edge of Stir. Interface was beautiful. Design was done by Fractal Inc., a young studio acquired by Dentsu. And we then launched her with a big fanfare in 2019. And today, we can boast about 8.5 million page views coming
Lovely.
from 4.5 to 5 million readers across the globe.
Brilliant.
74 writers spread in various geographies. We have a team in London, team in New York, a team in Madrid and Milan. We're soon opening an office in Dubai. We have an office in London. Yeah.
Awesome. Tell me something. You've done so many different things within your genre of work. You've done them and then you've also moved away from them. How does that feel? Because all of them are your babies. And then you want to start something new and you give it your all. Because I feel when you create something, sometimes, we just get so attached to those things. It's very difficult to let go and keep moving forward. How do you do that?
That's a very emotional question. Yeah, I think I'm going to quote here a very famous line which I heard from two of my favorite artists, former Phantasma team, Simon and Andre. They said that when you create something, you consume something. And when you consume a resource, or when you consume an emotion, or when you consume any mineral, which could be natural, which could be qualitative or quantitative, which could be emotional or rational, whatever you consume needs to live or outlive the life of that resource. So if you're making a chair out of a tree, the chair needs to outlive the life of that tree.
Wow.
So if you're making something out of love and emotion, that needs to outlive the life of that love and emotion. And that was one trigger of keep on creating something which would have a life and will have life more than me. So I want to keep on creating things which will outlive me. And
A
and
legacy.
and therefore getting stuck to one
Limits you, right?
was a dissonance in my mind. And then also there's a restlessness, there's an edginess of keep on doing something, keep on exploring, and keep on searching. Yeah, so I'm always in search.
That's beautiful. And did that lead you to bring the film festival to NCPA Mumbai?
Yeah, that was so as Stir was growing, a content platform was growing, and we there was a certain curatorial edge Stir platform today has. We don't talk about press release. We will not write a story unless we've spoken to a stakeholder. We will question, we will review, and things like that. We will have conversation. And then I said that, okay, we also need to create a physical IP. And we started mapping what is happening in the world and what is happening in India, specifically if you have to create an IP in India first. And we realized that there are lots of platforms in the country, which are beautiful platform. They have an amazing space of their own, but they're mostly trade-led platform. They're mostly fairs. They're mostly promoting product design, manufacturers who into the business of product design, and interior decor-led platform. And there's so many of them now in the country. So there was a lack of a platform which we can call as a academic knowledge creator and disseminator. I happened to attend a film festival in New York, and it was just by default. I happened to be in New York. An architect friend of mine said, "Amit, I'm going for this festival today.
Come along.
And I said that cinema. We've heard of film festivals
Yes.
of all kinds. We come from a land of Bollywood, so there are film festivals of all kinds here. But architecture and design film festival was even I hadn't heard of it. So I met the director and the founder of Architecture and Design Festival, New York, Kyle Bergman. It's a very interesting lens. Cinema is a very interesting lens to communicate or to disseminate knowledge.
Yeah.
So we said, okay, why don't we bring this to India? You know, He's the one who's been doing film festival in New York, in Toronto, in Vancouver, in Chicago, in LA. I said, okay, let's do outside US edition. Let's do in India. But we didn't just want to show films. We got 30 films. We also wanted to add layers to it. So one of the first layer we added to it is that, and the old avatar of Visav is also um, hovering on me, and we said this: we need to have public programming in place. So we coined a beautiful word called log, Logue, log, which also means in Hindi people, log. But if you spell log as Logue, it's a it's a prefix, suffix to names, to words like dialogue or monologue, epilogue and prologue and multilogue and enologue. And so that's how a public program will be. A public program will have dialogues, will have monologues, will have multilogues, will have analogues, will have epilogues and prologues. So that became a second layer to the festival. So in between every movie, every film, there were talk programs, there was performances. We came out with a beautiful format, which now a lot of people are adapting, which is very heartening to see. That why I used to hate this panel discussion. Five people sitting on a table or on a dais, on a stage, and one person moderating, and
Yeah.
99% of the time the topic is something else, and people are talking, tom-tomming their own credentials. We said, how do we break that? So first thing, dialogue could be about two people talking to each other on one subject while the audience is listening. And I remember this beautiful play called Tumhari Amrita, where Shabana Azmi and Farooq Sheikh were reading love letters to each other.
Yeah.
So I invited Kaiwan and Ranjit Hoskote as the first dialogue session, that you pick up a book of your choice and read excerpts from the book. And the book could be your excerpts could be complementing what you're saying or could be contradicting. It doesn't matter. You're just reading out to each other while people are listening to you. Likewise, um, an epilogue. We did a movie. There was a movie uh, of Eileen Gray controversy with Kubusi, which is a beautiful movie on
Yeah.
Kubusi Eileen Gray controversy. It was about women in architecture. We invited Shimul Javeri to deliver an epilogue on a prologue on that movie. And what a powerful 15 minutes delivery from her. I could see that people were tearing up in the audience. So that became a log program. The third thing which we added as a tenet is that why can't there could be an architecture and cinema has so much in common. Both can influence the cultural commentary of a country. Both gets influenced by each other, and both influences society or get influenced by society. So we invited architects and designers to create pavilions and installation responding to a theme called frame of reference. Pick up your reference point from a one basic thread on how architecture and cinema has a huge synergy and how they influence um, cultural language and of any community. So we got amazing installation from them. And the fourth layer we added is exhibitions and special projects which can fit the whole narrative. This year, 2026 edition, we wanted to make pavilions at a global scale. So we did a close competition. We invited 75 architects and designers, out of which 49 entries we received. Eric Chen is a curator of the Pavilion Park this year, who's a Zahadid Foundation director. He came out with a curatorial note called Mumbai Transcripts, inspired from Bernard Shumi's Manhattan Transcript. But we also got very powerful jury. I mean, I've got calls from architects in India and says, only you could have pulled a jury of this nature. We got Hans Ulrich, the director of Sapandan Pavilion, to be the jury member. We got Leslie Loco, the curator of Venice Architectural Biennale, to be the jury member. Ma Yang Song, a very famous architect from China, Martha Thorn, the former executive director of Pritzker Prize, and from India we got Mr. Raj Rewal. So out of the 49 entries, we're going to be announcing 8 entries next week who would be building a pavilion. And these pavilion will also become a backdrop as an extension of their own practices, will also become backdrop for public programming. And we invited architects and designers from different parts of the world, not just India, mainly from Southeast Asia and Asia Pacific region. So yeah, it'll be so Pavilion Park this year is going to have a different appeal.
Very exciting.
Lok program will be there. We have movies, new set of movies coming in, and multiple exhibitions and special projects coming in this year. And this year, we also then said that it's such a phenomenal format
Yeah.
of cinema or through the lens of cinema, but extending it to multiple tenets. Some of the people have told me, Amit, it's like a mini Biennale. And I said, I don't want to call it a Biennale. I just want to call it a festival. Let's celebrate knowledge.
Yeah.
So we announced this year, announced the launch of the film festival in London. I just came back from London. We did a event at VNA. VNA supported it, support in partnership with London Design Festival, and we'll be taking ADFF to London in 2026. And in 2027, the plans are to take ADFF to Dubai. And we might be bringing ADFF to Delhi as well and take it to other parts of the country in different formats. So that's one knowledge platform, creating and disseminating platform, which we intend to build.
I think this is so exciting.
Thank you.
And I'm sure it's already being talked about so much because you have introduced such a vast array of things within this structure. And yeah, I think India also has so much of talent. And with this pavilion and everything, I mean, people are going to get very inspired.
For sure, we have a lot of talent, and we just need somebody to trigger that.
Yes.
At times, what happens is, and I tell this to most of my designer friends, that you end up creating what you think your client wants, or you end up creating what you think the world wants. While you, as creative being, have all the potential to break that mold and create something which they don't know what they want,
Yeah.
or they had a latent desire or a need for that. So tap that latent need, and you'll be able to break that mold and create something new.
So, Amit, you have built so many platforms and you're still building the future for India in terms of bringing the film festival here and doing wonders with STIR. In the next 10 years, where do you see yourself in this creative field and what do you intend doing with STIR worldwide?
Wow. I don't know where I see myself because I'm a restless being and I keep on evolving and I keep on finding a new me every day. But as far as STIR is concerned, I do want STIR to be a globally respected media hub, content hub, knowledge hub, and a curatorial agency where, I mean, I may sound very pompous at this point of time, but I call sometimes when we're seeking now raising funds for STIR, and sometimes when a lot of potential investors ask me, I said, what is one line vision? I said, I want to be New York Times of creative community. I want to be BBC of creative
Absolutely.
community. I want the global creative community to look at STIR and to be part of STIR for anything creative. And today, with the advent of technology, creative disciplines are not sitting in any silos. At the same time, creative economy is a huge, powerful growth enabler in any country. It's no more just an oil economy, or it's no more just an agriculture economy. It's no more just an IT economy. Globally, creative economy contributes to a large percentage of GDP in any growing country and get a growing economy. And therefore, I feel it's time, right, to lay foundation to create very, very smart, creative knowledge hubs. And that is what STIR intends to do. And as I said, we have four mantras on 4 C's. We have content, We connect community and industry together. The third C is collaboration, enable people working together. And the fourth is community building. Go deep down and build community through the creative intervention. So STIR has a 4C mantra, and therefore multiple products are in the pipeline. As we go along, we'll start unveiling them. The multiple IPs are in the pipeline. Um, so hopefully in 10 years, STIR should become a big creative brand.
I 100% see that.
Thank you.
And just to, I know we are going to wrap up soon, but I wanted to touch upon your family. You have two beautiful daughters who are also extremely creative. Your partner, Hardeep, who is an artist, she's a theater personality. So, as a family of creatives, what is your dining room discussion like?
Well, all four of us are very, very different when it comes to thinking about what direction we want to go. But yeah, there is a common thread amongst all four of us that we are bunch of artists and creative lunatics. Hardeep today being part of STIR and Visav, but at the same time is an ardent theater and actor, and she's been acting in multiple short films and she's been doing multiple theaters. One of her film, which was written and produced by her, won multiple international film awards. A short film called Entrapment. I've got two daughters. The elder one finished her course from Berklee College of Music as a singer-songwriter from Boston, and she's cutting an album together.
Lovely.
She's a teacher, she's a singer, she's a writer. In fact, the first ADFF, she opened it up with a beautiful song called Colors, which she had written when she was a teenager.
Amazing.
And she talked about the song was basically based on she saw two of her cousins. A younger cousin was drawing on a piece of paper, and the elder one said, "You're going out of line." And Ashna was watching that and came out of line that whatever do they mean? Why do we need to be
Within.
in the line? And she wrote a song called Colors, and it says it was all about it's okay to go out of line. And that's the song which opened the festival last year. She's also written a beautiful song called Choke, which has won awards, which is on pollution. And she does write songs on social causes. My younger one is a drummer and an actor, and currently studying acting and music both. So yeah, they have their own artistic journey. Where does it intersect? I hope they find value. Like I keep on teasing them. Listen, STIR has an extension and straight extension into STIR music.
Yes.
Listen, Papa, don't think that we're going to be turning into an entrepreneur so soon. We don't know. You keep STIR music if you want to, but not on our shoulder. So let's see. I keep on sometimes going back to them that we can do STIR music. We can do STIR. Music is a very natural extension.
Absolutely, yeah.
For the creatives or for the creative community. But we talk about it. We share thoughts, but there is no defined agenda amongst us as yet.
That's how it should be. And I think creativity is in your genes.
Well, don't know about that, but yeah, as I said, creativity is something which you can also find anywhere. You just have to be a sponge of extracting it. I learn a lot talking to you. I will learn a lot talking to anybody else.
Likewise. Thank you so much for being
Thank
here.
you, Devani.
It's been such a pleasure. Learned so much about you and about the creative fields that you're into and what you're bringing to India. And you're putting India on the map, which is really incredible. Thank you so much.
Thank you. It was a pleasure talking to you, Devika.
Thank you.
Cheers.
To our listeners, I hope this episode brings about creativity in you. And also, if you're at crossroads and wondering whether you should head into the direction where your gut tells you to, just do it. Thank you for listening. Until next time.